Today starts a landmark trial that will be a referendum on how far America has come in its quest for equality and justice for all. It will be prima facie evidence, this trial of Derek Chauvin regarding the killing of George Floyd on May 25th, 2020, right here in Minneapolis. It will be prima facie evidence whether America is going to live up to the Declaration of Independence. Now, I know everybody can quote the Declaration of Independence, but this trial is going to provide evidence of whether we really believe it when we say we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equally, that they're endowed by their Creator with certain inalienable rights, that amongst them are life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness. Well, America, that means black people too. America, that means George Floyd too. And for all of those people, Reverend Al, who continue to say that this is such a difficult trial, that this is such a hard trial, well, we rebuke that.
Listen.
Because we know if George Floyd was a white American citizen and he suffered this painful, torturous death with a police officer knee on his neck, nobody will be saying this is a hard case.
Right.
And when people ask you that, activists, and the family thanks the activists, when people ask you, well, isn't this a tough case? Because they're going to try to say George Floyd had a trace amount of drugs in his system. You let them know that Ben Crump said that George Floyd was living, breathing, walking, and talking just fine.
Yeah,
until the police put him face down and put him in handcuffs and put a knee on his neck for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. So this murder case is not hard when you watch that torture video of George Floyd. Y'all understand?
Yeah.
This murder case is not hard when you watch that torture video of George Floyd. And we have to call it what it is. It was torture. Even under the Geneva Convention definition, this was torture. And Derek Chauvin should be held criminally liable for the death of George Floyd. You know, we, the civil lawyers, made sure that George Floyd family got their civil justice under the 7th Amendment, Tony, with the historic $27 million settlement that not only included compensation for the family, but also policy reform. And that is important, but that's only part of the justice. George Floyd, just like any other citizen, his family is deserving of whole justice, full justice. That means that the state and the agents of the government should hold individuals who commit crimes accountable under the 10th Amendment. And black people in America should not only have to get partial justice. We have every right to get whole justice.
Whole justice.
Civil justice and criminal justice. Nobody questioned when the Diamond family got a $20 million settlement.
Listen.
that that white family should not also get criminal justice. So why is it that we will question in 2021 whether black people in America can get whole justice as well under the 7th Amendment and the 10th Amendment? We're not asking for anything extraordinary. We're asking for equal justice under the law. And newsflash, breaking news. We expect in just a few minutes you're going to hear opening arguments, and they're going to take the playbook out, Reverend Allen. They're going to try to assassinate the character of George Floyd. For loners, they're going to call your brother everything but a child of God. And they're going to talk about as much as they can about his record. But his record isn't an issue.
All right.
Because this is the trial of Derek Chauvin.
Come on.
Breaking news. This is the trial of Derek Chauvin. Let's talk about his record.
All right.
His 19 complaints of excessive force by citizens here in Minneapolis. That's what we should be talking about. George Floyd didn't kill anybody. Derek Chauvin was the person that killed George Floyd. So why is it we will allow them to assassinate the character of George Floyd after they assassinated his person? Y'all, they taught me in law school that if you have the facts on your side, then by all means, argue the facts. But then they said, if the facts ain't really with you, then try to assassinate your opponent's character as a way to hopefully distract everybody from focusing in on the facts. Well, everybody, please do not be distracted. The facts are simple. What killed George Floyd was an overdose of excessive force.
Come on, Crump.
The transcript from the autopsies are clear. The manner and cause of death was asphyxiation by homicide. Polonus said in the hood, they choked. It was a knee choke. And so let's remember the facts here. This murder case is not hard. Just look at the torture video of George Floyd. When anybody asks you, remind them, this murder case is not hard. Just look at the torture video of George Floyd, the most viewed murder of a police on a citizen in the history of the world. It has been viewed just in over 50 million times on YouTube and probably as many more times on cable television. Everybody has saw this video. What we want to know is, will we see justice? The whole world is watching. The whole world is watching. So you're going to hear from Attorney Tony Romanucci, Attorney Justin Miller, and Attorney Jeff Storms. And then you're going to hear from the family of George Floyd. And then after that, you're going to hear from our civil rights leader, America's civil rights leader, Al Sharpton. We're trying to time it where we can get it right at 8:46. And we're going to try to keep time. And then Reverend Al, after he gives us our call to action, we're going to take a knee for 8 minutes and 46 seconds. And hopefully everybody within the sound of his voice will join us in taking that knee to understand what George Floyd went through the last minutes and seconds of his life.